today I'm so excited. I've just sold a Lexus NX300 2020 model. Of course, I'm going to insert the photos here. And the reason why I'm excited is because that client originally came from this page, and that is so validating. And I kind of want to take you through the journey. Actually, I've decided I'm gonna be doing this series where I take you through the journey of a client and the journey that we've interacted with, from when we started the interaction up to when we purchased the car, or any other information that you might need to know. So this client calls me and he tells me that he's looking for a 2019 Lexus NX300. Originally, he was open to the F Sport, but it was like not a must. Something that was a very big priority for him was a sunroof, because I even remember the very first engagement, he was really adamant on the sunroof. So he submitted the specs and I dived in the auction to look for cars that were matching his specs. Of course, we talked actually over the phone, on the text. I shared some options. There are some that he liked, and then I invited him to our office. He came, we talked and all that, and then now he already by this time now, when he was coming, he had already decided, by the time he was actually coming, he had not even decided which car he was going to get. Yes, initially he wanted a Lexus, but then when he came, he was telling me that he can stretch up to 5 million. So I try and suggest options that are within that budget. So of course, the first option that I suggested was an Audi Q5, especially the S-Line. And then I suggested, he actually was heavily suggesting the Evoque, Range Rover Evoque, which was about that budget, give or take around 5.5-ish. And then the other one that we were having on the table was a Volvo, either XC40 or XC60. But then he was ish about the Volvo. And then also initially his heart was, on the Lexus. So all these suggestions. Oh, and then also there was a GLC on the table. And then he said that GLC is more of a feminine car than a masculine car. And I do agree with him for some reasons. And then I suggested a CX-8, and I remember him telling me, "Gladys, why are you downgrading me from a Lexus to a CX-8? Are you joking?" I was like, okay, yeah, my bad. And then now, after deliberating about so many options, we finally settled on the NX300. Something else that he was very specific about was the color, because he was telling me he wanted a silver or a bronze. He didn't want the white or black, silver or bronze. That was like the first priority. Yes, he was open to compromising on the color eventually, but that is what his heart wanted. So as we were diving in the auction, I was sharing some options with him, and at some point I do remember he was, spoiled for choices. Now there's something that this client confessed to me when he came to our office. He told me, "Gladys, this is not my first car to import. I have previously imported, though I have been using the Japan website." Now I'm not going to mention names. And this time he has decided he'd like to involve a local agent and try to see if he can get a better experience or a different experience, because now he says that the last time he imported using Japan dealer, the car arrived but some parts were stolen and there was no one to be liable or to take accountability. And I was assuring him, if you import through Best Cars and for some reason something gets stolen, first of all, we're going to take care of everything and ensure nothing gets stolen. But in a scenario where, makosa imefanyika, we will be held accountable. At least to have someone locally to hold accountable and say, "Gladys, this is not what we had agreed. Please meet the agreement up to the latter." Yeah. And I was like, yeah, okay. Of course, he was asking me, why should I give you my money, almost 5 million, and not give this Japan dealer, because there's so many Japan websites. And I was like, because now you have someone who is handling this transaction on your behalf, who is negotiating on your behalf, who is following up inspection. You don't have to ask. Has the inspection been booked? Of course, me, I'll be giving you prior updates. When we secure a vessel, once we get a confirmation, I'll be updating you. I'll be pushing that you get, the next available vessel so that your order doesn't take long, because I like pushing my orders very fast so that I can take new orders. Please hear me out, because there's somewhere I'm heading with this story. And then also payment terms. Our payment terms are quite fair, because for us, we only ask for a small commitment deposit of 20%, then you offset the 80% once your car lands in Mombasa. When now you use the other websites, most of them, they'll ask either 50% or 100%. I'm not quite sure, but something like that. But no one will ask for 20%, only best cars there. And something else is you're guaranteed of the condition and the mileage, because for us, we're going to show you the auction sheets. Now, let me tell you something that was very interesting. Once he came and we agreed, I think, okay, as a buyer, you still are in contact with, other people. It's market ni market. At mimi, when I'm buying something, as much as I'm talking to person A, I could also still listen to what person B and C are giving me, and then at the end of the day, I'll select the best deal. So one morning, he sends me this particular black Lexus, and it's very nice. I see it and I'm like, this car looks very familiar. I had seen it somewhere, but I didn't share this car because it didn't have a sunroof, and this client told me sunroof is a must. In fact, the reason why he's buying a car is because of the sunroof. It's one of the non-negotiable. Then that's why it never even occurred to me to show this client this car. So this client sends me this car, and he's like, there's this black one that's nimetumiwa, and I'd like you to assist me in purchasing it and confirming the condition and all that and all that. When I see that photo, at first I'm like, isn't this the unit? But then I'm like, let me just confirm with my Japan team so that I give a very candid feedback. And I confirm, and I'm told this car doesn't have a sunroof. And I go back to my client and I tell him this unit looks nice, the mileage is okay, but it doesn't come with a sunroof. Then he's like, those people have told me that this car has a sunroof. And let me tell you something, you see the way you see from the roof of a car, you can't spot a sunroof, and clearly. And then now for me, me, I have people on ground in Japan who will go physically check these cars and confirm for me, and they'll tell me, no, that this car has a sunroof, this car doesn't have a sunroof, or XYZ, this car, the tires are worn out, or these cars, anything, any information that I need to know. I don't like online shop, by the way. Each and every car that I have ever imported, someone physically went to the ground to check it out for me. Even, sometimes when I tell my client, that car has a tiny scratch, someone has verified the scratch and they've told me the intensity of that scratch. Of course, I'm relying on the auction sheet, but still I have someone on ground who's telling me the tires, those ones, they need some replacement, zime crack kidogo, kuna some wear and tear somewhere. Yeah, it's very, very important when you're handling such a high value business, especially car importation. You don't just online shop, and that's why I see so many clients choosing to self-import. Then something goes wrong, and then now they remember. That's when they start consulting me, Gladys, and then this and this and this and this and this and this. But sometimes it's always too late, because now you've already placed an order with someone else, and now I'm not able to come in. But then when you start a fresh order with me, I assure you, you're going to get. So he was asking me, where will these people lie that this car has a sunroof? Of course, I'm like, they're pushing sales. For them, you think they care about you. They don't care about you. They're pushing sales. Once that car arrives, you'll realize it doesn't have a sunroof, and you won't have anyone to blame. So anyway, the good news is that he didn't proceed with that one. He actually decided to just leave the whole project to me to handle, and told me, this is what I want, please make sure I get it. And good news is we have secured a unit, and I'm so happy for him. It's coming, guys. It's coming. So bye. If you'd like to ship any car directly from Japan, kindly reach out to me. My name is Gladys from Best Cars for Sale in Kenya. We are located in Ruiru town, Greek Towers, and for us, we deal with pure importation. So we import on order, and we don't stock cars locally. We only deal with direct importation, and we import on order. So feel free to ring me, you can text me, and I'll revert with a quote. But all said and done is I'm going to make sure I bring home a car that is in the best condition. Cheers.